What do we know about Chinese LEGO manufacturers? Mostly that they provide the opportunity to get a copy of a set or minifigure of dubious quality for a cheap price. But what about custom variations of unique characters? The kind of guys we would never get in LEGO sets. In this video we'll take a look at 5 alternative, or better to say fake LEGO clone figures that could try to replace the expensive customs. Let's start with Commander Cody. Despite the fact that his minifigure was released by LEGO in Phase 2 armor, the standard for many people is the look from Clone Army Customs. Did you know that Chinese manufacturers have made at least 5 attempts to make different appearances of this character? Here we have a couple of not really successful ones, from WM Blocks and Karit. However, the most attractive thing you can find on Chinese market is a Commander Cody figure by Scene, which are currently called G minifigures. It looks very cool, and in many ways copies the design of Clone Army Customs, so when you compare them you won't even be able to tell where the fake is. The figure has great and smooth prints without mistakes. Plus the prints are even on the visor and face. The only possible drawback is that the DC-15 blaster is too big, the same size as for Hasbro figures. But that doesn't mean anything against such a cool copy. Next, let's talk about Fives. His minifigure from Clone Army Customs is a real firing for fans. He looks awesome and really proves how cool custom minifigures can be. In his case, everything is not as obvious as it was with Cody, but there are also variations from Karit and WM Blocks. But again, we are interested in the version from Scene, because it's the closest to the design from CEC. Yes, this time the shoulder pad detail is a bit large and not designed as well, but the figure still looks very decent. Although you should take into account that his helmet is on the second face, and not in the ARC Trooper format. What of Ice without his Echo? This time the manufacturer is Fig Fab Lab. They have a slightly different style and approach of printing, but it is still the original LEGO minifigure with a helmet from Clone Army Customs. While Chinese manufacturers already have 2 versions of Echo in a specific style, and one in more acceptable. But it's immediately worth noting that the helmet's visor print is a bit crooked, and the chest plate lacks a palm print, which is an important element. But this figure introduced a completely new part in the field of Star Wars minifigures, which has never been used by LEGO or Clone Army Customs or any other manufacturer till this point. And it's really cool and impressive. The shoulder pads combined with the chest armor plate of ARC Trooper. In my opinion, this is a very well done part, which allows to expand the detailing of the figure in the right direction. After all, the ARC Trooper armor was really bulging and thicker. It's only a matter of time before Scene learned how to put prints on that plate, so we just have to wait for the re-release of Echo. Republic Commander Boss, the coolest clone character ever, and his version from Clone Army Customs costs about $33. In his case, the cheaper current version is a total flop, while the WM Blocks version is pretty good, except for the helmet with a huge forehead. Funny how its level of detail surpasses the level of CEC. But the most interesting figure is the one from Pogo, because it completely copies the CEC's design, except for the unique backpack mold, which these guys couldn't produce, and instead figure has a weird jetpack, but with a correctly printed tile. Nevertheless, when you compare him with the original, eye catches the shiny visor print. It is located slightly above the correct level, and lacks the gradient of blue glow of Commander clones. One more disadvantage is that the C-17 rifle is not included in the delivery set. Instead, there is a classic LEGO rifle. Otherwise, the figure looks pretty good. Not perfect, but you can always combine different parts and accessories to make it look better. And finally, Commander Doom. He can be used as an example of the best copies of the Clone Army Customs, because the original figure looks really nice. So Scene decided to put all their efforts to produce a quality counterpart. If you don't have Doom from CEC, you cannot even claim to this figure. But I'll try to point out its shortcomings. The most basic is the color scheme. It's noticeably darker, although I can't say that this means the figure is worse, because color rendering can vary among manufacturers, even in LEGO itself. But 2 other aspects still have more significant impact. First, while his visor has a print that CEC version lacks, the quality and size of the marks and rank badge on torso of the copy is smaller and not as clear as the original. The second thing is that the legs detail has simplified connector to the torso, which complicates the process of putting on a waistcape, and in general it's not fixed as tightly. However, from the good side, we can highlight the so-called realistic design of the helmet, if you don't like the signature style from Clone Army Customs. And the fact that the wave of figures, which includes this Commander Doom, also includes a Doom-packed soldier with a unique beautiful shield, which I have not seen in any custom manufacturer, and Doom-packed Arc Trooper, whose image has never been seen in principle, even in the animated series. And all these figures are made without any mistakes and other flaws, which in theory allows you to build a very cheap army of Doom guys, with the quality of an expensive custom figure. Thus, Chinese fake LEGO manufacturers were able to partially copy the success of such manufacturers as Clone Army Customs. And if their figures are not perfect today, it's quite possible that in the nearest future they can surpass manufacturers of custom figures. And considering a giant gap in the price segment, it will greatly affect the whole industry of custom LEGO figures creation. I hope this video will help someone to answer the question about the quality of fake LEGO figures, and the potential of their manufacturers. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.